Hi there, Rabbi. It looks like you're living the retirement life, but you're not retiring. You're as busy as ever. What's going on?
Well, I read a couple of articles this week and last week, and I want to address the articles and point out both articles were completely wrong. I'm going to be 78 and I am not invisible. And this is direct. I don't know if the same person wrote the both articles. One was, I'm an old person and I'm invisible. The other was, don't live in an over 55 community. Those were the articles. I don't know if the same person wrote them. I think they wrote them because the public out there wants to hear negative things and snide remarks and be told how rotten everything is. I'm here to tell you, I am not invisible. I get everything that person said doesn't happen to me, hasn't happened to me. I took offense that this person kept saying that in doctor's offices, in this place, in that place, they were invisible because they were old. I think they may have really been invisible.
One time, my wife was in a theater and there was a long line for the ladies' room. I don't know why that always happens. It's never in the men's room. But an usher took her aside and said, "Ma'am, we'd like you to use this bathroom if you're having trouble waiting." And she got extremely offended at the suggestion that she could not hold her pee until the line shortened. So there's still ageism, but it's not in, if it's not invisibility, it's our brows wreathed with age of years. I forget the exact Shakespeare quote. Don't you find that sometimes you're treated differently because of
I'm
your
thrilled to be treated differently, Joe. I consider it an honor. I don't know why. If I'm standing in line and my prostate says it's time, I'm thrilled enough for an usher to come over to me and take me to the head of the line. I can't imagine why you'd want to be offended if someone would want to treat you special. I don't care if it's because of my age, my height, my lack of hair, my military service. I don't care why. And I take offense from people who take offense because they're being treated nicely. You know, when I saw one of my physicians and we're talking about some different protocols, some different things we could do, and my physician, she left it up to me. What do you want to do? And I looked at her and I said, if I'm pretend I'm your grandfather, what would you suggest to your grandfather? What would you tell your grandfather to do? And she hemmed and hawed, then she told me, I want to be treated as 78 years old. I want to be treated like your grandfather. And if you're older, treat me like your father. In fact, like I said, Joe, I consider it an honor and a privilege and anything but invisible and anything special. And this idea that one shouldn't live in an over 55 community, it's ridiculous. I couldn't see any of the six items the person said were negative or bad. For me, they were all positives.
well, then let me ask you this. Do you see the idea of living in a senior community positive because of the lack of younger families, or is the main attraction of a seniors community? Don't we like seeing being immersed in the lives of younger people?
See, I don't see anything as a lack, Joe. And I think that's my argument. Nothing's lacking. If if I miss younger people, I can volunteer for interages at the Jewish Council for the Aging and tutor in one of the schools. There's lots of programs. If I feel I want to put that into my lifestyle, it's what I'm looking for, it's what I want. And I think that has to do with me. I don't see a lack. And the articles I read on aging and the senior community were all based on what it doesn't have. Forget about what it doesn't. No. Why are you focusing on what it doesn't have? Focus on what it has. Instead of baseballs, we have golf balls coming through our, well, we have trees between us and the fairway, so the golf balls never make it here. But, the glass is neither half empty nor half full. It's a glass. Now, are you satisfied with what's in it?
You're saying basically you can play with kids as much as you want, and then you get to go home. Well, thank you, Rabbi. for the wisdom, the insight. I don't have grandchildren yet, and I'm still living outside the gates, but I will take your words to heart.
And again, for our viewers and listeners, just a caveat, be careful when we start reading all these negatives and downside, and I'm an old person, I'm invisible, poor me, woe is me, they're not treating me nicely. No, never found it, never seen it. I've always been treated with respect. And I find if I introduce myself to a young person as their grandfather, they smile and I'm treated like their grandfather.